What is going on, everybody? You are here with us for the first episode of the Gimme the Points podcast. I am your host, Dustin Braden, otherwise known as Soup, here with my co-host, Tyler Thorne. How you doing tonight, man?
I am good. How are you? I'm excited to get
Uh,
going.
I'm good, man. I'm fired up. I am more excited than Deshaun Watson on a massage table. I am ready to get this thing going. NFL season's right around the corner. We just finished up, I guess technically, the second preseason week, which is now, the second to last preseason week. So we got one more. We have our fantasy football drafts coming up this weekend, and then the season kicks off. Today we are going to cover the win totals for each team, and we got some player props to cover at the end. Is there anything, storyline wise that you want to touch on? Any quarterback battles that you find interesting? Any rookie quarterbacks? Any takes on the rookie quarterbacks? I know you're a Jaguars fan, so I'm sure you're all hyped up about Trevor Lawrence.
I am. Honestly, I would love to be like, oh, Trevor Lawrence looks amazing. They all look bad. I actually think all the rookies have looked solid. Granted, against various levels of starters on defense, but still, I mean, they can only play with who's on the field when they get their shot. I think they've all looked good. So, yeah, I'm
Right?
ready
Did you
for real
see?
football.
Did you see Justin Fields get decapitated today?
I did, but if there's one thing we learned about him in that against Clemson, the man can take a hit.
Yeah, he sure can. He's tough as nails. But that was blatantly dirty. There's rules put in place to prevent that, and it's preseason. I get the rookie came out last week and he said, the game seems slow to him, and he's got a little bit of arrogance about him. He knows he's going to be the starter. Andy Dalton will not start all year. It's just not going to happen. Nick Foles might come in if an injury occurs, but Fields is the guy. You don't draft the guy that high if he's not the guy. I will say, I am rocking the Gronk jersey tonight. I am a Patriots fan, for those of you who don't know. Pep nips Mac Jones. Shocking me. The kid looks good. He's thrown some really nice, like 40-yard passes down the field. One that got N'Keal Harry hurt, which is like a double positive. Mac Jones looked good. N'Keal Harry's not on the field. Kid sucks, can't catch a ball. But yeah, so the rookie quarterbacks, all in all, look good. Zach Wilson looked good tonight. I watched a little bit of the Jets game. Yeah, I'm fired up. I can't remember a year. There's been more hyped quarterbacks, but as far as the depth of rookie quarterbacks this year, all the guys taken in the first round seem to be legit. I mean, they're all competing for a starting job. Cam Newton's keeping Mac Jones kind of on the back burner a little bit because he's looked good so far, and Belichick has some weird love for him. But yeah, all in all, the rookies have impressed so far in the preseason.
Yeah, no, they have and like you said, Justin Fields is going to start eventually, but just end the charade. Don't. Andy Dalton needs to start 0 regular season games as long as Fields is healthy. It's just put him out there. Let
I
him
agree
play.
because it's not even like Andy Dalton's a guy that Justin Fields can learn from. They're two totally different styles. So I don't understand that dynamic there, and Nick Foles still being there. So, but on that note, let's jump right into these win totals. We're just going to go in alphabetical order. We have, I think, 5 that we listed that we really like that we're going to touch a little bit more in depth on. So the first one, we have the Arizona Cardinals, and they are coming in at 8.5. For me personally, I think this over hits. I see them as a 9 or a 10 win team. They added on defense. They obviously added J.J. Watt. As old as he is, we haven't seen A.J. Green play recently in little bits. And I think A.J. Green adds to that offense. It just gives Kyler Murray another weapon to throw to. They did lose Pat Peterson, but they brought in Malcolm Butler, didn't they? Yeah, they brought in Malcolm Butler to replace Pat Pete. Guys getting paid based off of one play he's made in his entire career. I think he sucked at Tennessee, my personal opinion. But yeah, so Arizona 8.5. I like the over here. What about you?
I like it too. When I was going through their schedule, I kept finding them at 7, 8 wins that I liked them for sure at. And then I thought about it. I think they're a good team, and good teams also find a way to win a few close games they shouldn't. So with that, then I think they hit the over because I think they're a solid team.
And they're 100% in the hardest division in football.
Oh yeah, without a
The
doubt.
division's I mean, it's loaded, man. The Rams adding Stafford, Seattle with Dangerous, obviously. And I don't know where I lie with San Francisco. I'm confused on them. I don't know what's. Yes, they were super, injury riddled last year, but I don't know. I'm stuck on them. Speaking of San Fran, they don't have a wins total out because the quarterback battle that's going on there. The last time it was out, I think it was at 10.5, and I personally would probably lean towards the under on that. But we'll see what happens whenever they put out a total before that. Our next team, the Atlanta Falcons, 7.5. I have been burnt on the Falcons over so many freaking times because I've always loved their talent, their offensive talent, but their injury-prone defense. They got rid of some of those guys. They got rid of Keanu Neal. They got rid of Ricardo Allen. But my concern is the offensive line because they got rid of Alex Mack, and the offensive line wasn't good last year, and they got rid of their best offensive lineman. I don't know how I feel about Matt Ryan. I think this might be his last hurrah. Calvin Ridley's obviously a stud, but when you lose Julio Jones, you're not going to improve. And, a lot of teams get rid of guys and then replace them with somebody better, but they didn't replace Julio Jones. So I see them at 7 or 8 wins because I'm not a big fan of the Saints. I'm not a big fan of the Panthers. So I think they win some division games. What do you think about the over 7.5?
See, same thoughts as you. I actually don't like anyone in that division except the Bucks, obviously.
Yeah, right.
But I've got the under for the Falcons just because I feel like I'm glad you mentioned Matt Ryan. It's like the Tom Brady effect. Not everybody can play good quarterback, high level QB play until they're 40. Matt Ryan's old.
Yeah,
Now,
it's 36.
this could be his last hurrah. He could have, one more good year, but I could they hit 8 wins, and barely hit the over? They could, but I don't think they're a very solid team top to bottom. They've got Ridley and they've got Kyle Pitts, who I think will be a stud. But other than that, I just don't see them as a good football team.
Yeah, I don't see any improvements that they've added on the field. Honestly, they've lost guys, and I don't think that they improved in the positions that they lost. So I think the 7.5 is probably the right number. I could see 7. I could see 8. I don't see a 9 or a 10 win team in the Atlanta Falcons.
No, agreed.
Now, the first one that we really like, and you guys are going to get to know that I fucking hate Lamar Jackson. Under 11 wins for the Baltimore Ravens. I love this. The under's at a -110. Lamar Jackson's numbers went down drastically last year. 400 less passing yards, 10 less passing touchdowns, 3 more interceptions. People got tape on him. The defense lost Matt Judon. Let's go, New England.
Well, it's hard to throw for a lot of yards and touchdowns when you're a running back at the quarterback position. So
right, yeah, right. And the MVP award he got, sure, great. He had a really good year, but he was just the new flavor. That's all it was. He wasn't the MVP. Patrick Mahomes was the MVP that year. Russell Wilson was more of an MVP candidate than Lamar Jackson that year. Their division's tough. I mean, Cleveland is so good. Pittsburgh, I know we're going to disagree on it. We'll wait for the Steelers, but Pittsburgh's tough. Cincinnati, I think that they might surprise some people. I don't see them at 4 wins this year, and they have a really tough out of division schedule as well. So I love the under 11. If you want to juice it up a little bit to 11.5, so if they win 11 games, you still win. That's at a -150. I still like those odds under 11.5 on the Baltimore Ravens.
No, I'm right there with you. I don't think they're a bad team. They'll make the playoffs, I think. They always find a way to sneak in. But as far as having an 11 win, over under total, that's a sign of a damn good football team. They're not that. You to put Lamar Jackson against any of the other top quarterbacks and say, you're in a shootout, the man has to throw to win you the game. Not happening.
Yeah, he's not a top 20 quarterback in my mind.
No, top 5 running back, but
and I will die on that. He's not top 20 in my mind.
No.
6 of their 9 home games this year against playoff teams last year. They went from the easiest schedule in the league last year to the hardest schedule in the league this year. It's just the writing's on the wall, This is the hardest schedule John Harbaugh's ever had. They face Kansas City at home. These are all in Baltimore. Kansas City, Indy, the Rams, Green Bay, Minnesota.
Tough.
2-4 out of those 6 games.
Yeah. No, I mean, they probably win about 10 games because they will. Harbaugh's a good coach, but 12 games, I don't think. No way.
All right, next one we both really like, and it pains me to say this, but Buffalo, man.
Oh.
We were so wrong about Josh Allen. Okay, well, 99% of the world was wrong about Josh Allen. The kid is legit. He's not afraid to take a hit, which I love. He welcomes contact. He's got the body build. I'm not afraid that he's going to get hurt when he gets hit. It's like a linebacker playing quarterback who can also sling the rock.
No, and honestly, I don't think he will. You're right. He's got that build. But say he goes down and he's going to miss 2 or 3 weeks. They're being cautious with him. Mitch Trubisky, kind of a perfect backup if he has to come in and win a game or two. So I'm not. Buffalo, I think they're the second best team in the AFC behind Kansas City. And if you told me they're the best and you wanted to argue it, I wouldn't argue with you because they very well might be.
No, I definitely hear that argument out. I think their defense definitely bounces back. They were fantastic 2 years ago. They had a down year last year, but it didn't matter because the offense was great. It's just – and Diggs, what a difference Diggs has made for Josh Allen, man. And Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley's a stud.
He was good in Dallas, too.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's such a good second receiver. It's just – and they won 9 home games last year, and their extra game this year is a home game. So a lot of teams you could argue, that could be a win or a loss. You give them an extra home game, I'm going to go, Bills Mafia. I like them to win that home game, and I like Buffalo over 11 this year.
Yeah, I do too. Josh Allen and the Bills as a whole, they just kind of have that like force of nature feel to them when they get going. Like, damn, this has been a long time coming for them. You can tell he knows everybody thought he wasn't going to make it. He's a stud. There's no other way to put it.
Yeah, these next couple, we'll rattle through these pretty quickly. Carolina, I'm 7.5. I'm not sure on. Sam Darnold hasn't proven anything for me to take the over in this. But at the same time, I love Christian McCaffrey. I love Matt Rule and what he's doing in Carolina. And I am a huge Robbie Anderson fan. So I'll pass on this. I say the number's right about, right around 7 or 8. So I'd pass on this one. 7.5. You got any takes on that?
I'd lean under. Very, very soft lean. But yeah, 7 or 8 feels right.
Okay. Chicago Bears. This one interests me. We were talking about Justin Fields. Matt Nagy this will be his 4th year in Chicago. He's won at least 8 games all 3 years, 8-8, 8-8, and 12-4. But their schedule is so hard. It's unbelievably hard. I know we both like David Montgomery. You're a big AR guy. Darnell Mooney's a stud. I'm a big Cole Kmet guy. They have the weapons. I like their defense to bounce back a little bit. I think Khalil Mack has a better year. Love me Roquan Smith. So they have the weapons on defense as well, but they did lose Kyle Fuller, which hurts in the secondary. That's big time. But I still 7.5. It's really tough for me to take them over here because they do play teams. They got Green Bay twice, Minnesota twice, Detroit twice.
Yeah, 2 wins from Detroit.
But I think they have Kansas City. They have Baltimore. They have Pittsburgh and Cleveland as well. I think they're playing Baltimore's division. So yeah, they have a really tough schedule this year. So 7.5. I would like to see them go over because I'd like to see a lot of those guys succeed, but I can't bet this.
See, I feel good about the over with them. So we got 17 games now. Let's give them 2 Lions wins. So that's 15 games left. So you're telling me, it is a hard schedule. They only need to win 6 of those 15 to hit the over. And I think they're a good team. I think Fields will help them. This is me assuming that Fields plays at least the vast majority of the season. I think they can find 6 more wins in that schedule. And if it was 8.5, I'd be iffy. But with the 7.5, I think they can hit 8 wins.
I like what Fields is doing with his legs in the preseason. Normally guys don't run in the preseason, but he's showing that, I'm versatile. And he's not he's not a run-first quarterback. The kid's accurate as hell. So Man, I wish New England would have drafted Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Just straight up. Just straight up. Okay, so our next one, Bengals 6.5. No idea. I don't have a
I,
clue. All the reports say Joe Burrow looks like he has no idea what he's doing in training camp.
Jamar
I
Chase
love the
can't
what.
catch a pass.
Yeah, but I love T Higgins this year. I love Tyler Boyd. I think he's got the weapons around him. You know, Joe Mixon's going to do Joe Mixon, but the defense. They brought in a lot of help on defense this year. They spent a lot of money, but still they're in such a tough division. Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, super tough.
That's why I
I'd,
like the under on them.
yeah, okay. I'll agree with you on the under. I have no idea what they're going to do. Seven's a lot for them to improve 3 wins from last year. I think seven's a lot. Cleveland 10.5 over. Winning the division. Take
Over.
the Brownies. They've got it figured out, man. And Odell's coming back. They obviously added Jadeveon Clowney, which is huge. You know, he hasn't been the player that we all thought he was going to be, but I'll be damned if you told me if I could have Jadeveon Clowney as my second best defensive end if I wouldn't take it.
Yeah, he would help any defense in the league, even if he wasn't, like you said, what we thought he would. And Browns, okay, Myles Garrett, 18 plus sacks this year. I'm gonna go ahead and say that he's an animal. He's a freak.
Yes,
and they're just
as long as he doesn't hit anybody with their helmet.
no. It's weird to think of the Browns and not think that they suck. Like you almost still have to do a double take and wrap your head around the fact that they have top to bottom one of the better rosters in the NFL and a damn good football coach too.
Oh, unbelievable. And a perfect system. Perfect system for him. A run-heavy offense. And I'm going to go out there. I'm a Georgia Bulldogs fan. And I think outside of maybe Dalvin Cook, Nick Chubb is the best runner in professional football. He might not be the best overall running back because he doesn't catch passes the way these other guys do. You know, Merrill Hodge would love today's NFL because you have all these factor backs. But Nick Chubb is, you know, if not the best, the second best runner in football behind Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, hands down. Nick Chubb is awesome. And Hunt's not a bad second back. You know, he's decent
he'd be a starter on all but like 10 teams in the NFL. It's crazy. Next one we both like. So we've gone Baltimore, Buffalo, the Baltimore under, Buffalo over. We are so in on the Cowboys this year. It scares me, but man, Dak Prescott back. You're getting two guys who have never missed a Pro Bowl until last year in their entire career on your offensive line back. And you're getting La'el Collins. He's fully healthy. He should have made the Pro Bowl last year. I think Pro Football Focus had him ranked as like the third or fourth best tackle in football last year. Dak's got his line. Zeke is apparently in the best shape he's ever been in. And, they have guys like Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup and Blake Jarwin's back. So you have the dual tight end threat and Blake Jarwin and Dalton Schultz. That offense is so stacked. And the defense can't get worse. It can't get worse.
I don't care. I don't even care about their defense. That offense should be putting up 30 points per game minimum.
They should be the Bills. They should be the Bills of last year.
Yes, they should.
Bad defense, but the offense should just explode.
And if their defense, I mean, as long as it's not absolute hot garbage, if it's just kind of, below average, kind of sucky, that doesn't matter for them. They might lose them a game or two, but that offense is also going to win them a game or two. They shouldn't.
Yeah, so prior to last year, Tyron Smith and Zach Martin had 13 seasons played combined. You know how many Pro Bowls they had combined? 13. No. They're amazing. I mean, you have two of the top 5 tackles in the league on that offensive line, and then you bring Zach Martin back at guard. Set. I mean, I love it, and that's going to play into one of my player props at the end of the show here. These next ones, Denver 8.5. No idea. I'd say under because I don't like Drew Lock. I think Drew Lock sucks. I think Teddy Bridgewater cannot lead a team to 9 wins. They don't have – and Cortland Sutton's back, yeah, but he's coming off an ACL tear, so I don't know how much I trust that. Melvin Gordon competing for his job. I don't like it at all.
No.
Detroit 5. I think that's right about right. 5-12.
Yeah, I would go under.
No,
I just
I'd lean the under over the over, but I think it's going to push. I think they're going to go 5-12.
yeah, no, I don't. I'm not guaranteeing the under. Like another team we'll talk about with a low total, but
Yes, yes, and that's coming up in two. Green Bay 10.5, another one we love. Um, I like the alternate line at 9.5. It's juiced up. It's -170 if you want to take the 10. I think the 10's at like a -130. Green Bay to go over. 13-3 last year, 13-3 the year prior. Aaron Rodgers is pissed at the world. Devontae Adams is back. They're doing their own little, Jordan, Scottie Pippen, the last dance kind of deal here. Yeah. And, Aaron Jones, as long as he stays healthy, and even if he doesn't, Quadzilla. They've got the running back. Randall Cobb's back. You never know. A little
yeah,
flashback.
I would have said that I like the Packers over without even looking at what the total was. And then
Yeah.
you look and it's 10.5 instead of 11 or 11.5. I mean, some things just happen, and Aaron Rodgers having his football team be damn good is one of those things. So yeah,
If you're
that
if you're betting the under, you're betting that Aaron Rodgers gets hurt. That's what you're
yeah,
betting.
literally, yeah.
Because if Rodgers plays all 17 games, I don't see a way that they don't win 11 games. 11-6, like that's not an incredible record with this extra game added in. You know
No,
what I
and
mean?
I think they'll do better than that. But yeah,
Right,
they're
I
at
do. I
least
12,
hitting
13
11.
wins for sure, especially with, Detroit. Minnesota, I think Minnesota's offense takes a big step back this year. I don't see, Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen combining for what they have like 27 touchdowns last year? Stupid.
Yeah, it was a
Stupid
lot.
number. So yeah, and this is our fifth play that we agree on here, Houston. Their line is set at 4. I am going under all day. It's at plus money. It's at a plus 105. They won 2 games with Deshaun Watson having the best year of his career. 2. And he played out of his freaking mind. And now you're going to Tyrod Taylor? They're not winning 5 games this year. At worst, you'll push. I love them to win 0, 1, 2, or 3 games. I don't see Houston being able to win more than 4 games.
No, I don't either. And we were going through the schedule, and we assumed, even just for fairness sake, a split with Jacksonville. Even with
Right.
that, still they hit 2, 3 wins.
Yeah, I don't see where those other 4 wins come from. I just don't think I don't think it's possible. The real question is, so where's the prop bet? It's Tyrod Taylor passing touchdowns versus Deshaun Watson's guilty verdicts. What number is going to be higher? I'm going Deshaun Watson with the guilty verdicts.
Yeah.
Tyrod's never thrown for 20 touchdowns in his career, in a season, and Deshaun's got 22 allegations against him. So I think that number hits before Tyrod hits 20. Side note, I love Deshaun Watson. I think he's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah,
But everything that's going on with him is absolutely insane. I hope the guy comes back on the field, and I hope he's wearing a red, white, and blue jersey. Indy 8.5. Quentin Nelson banged up, same injury to Carson Wentz. I think Jonathan Taylor takes a step back this year. He throttled the last 8 weeks of the season versus really bad defenses. Marlon Mack's back, so I see more of a running back by committee approach. T.Y. Hilton's just getting older. He's getting slower. I don't know if the defense is going to be as good. I'd lean the under, but I could see them going 9-8. I don't think they're a bad enough team to. I don't know. I think it's right. I think it's 8 or 9 wins for them.
I feel the same way. You said you kind of lean the under. I kind of lean the over, but probably about 9 wins because they are a good team. They've got a good roster, but Quentin Nelson's big. I mean, that's probably pound for pound. He's a top 5 lineman in the NFL.
For sure.
Top 1, top 3. And Wentz,
sure.
I don't know. I mean, if Carson Wentz plays like last year, they're a bad team because he'd bring them down. If Carson Wentz came back healthy and somehow rediscovered the MVP season, or even say a step below that, then they're a damn good team. So honestly, who knows with them?
Yeah, and I don't think it's a huge upgrade because I don't think Phillip Rivers played bad last year. I think the offense was set up perfect for Phil Rivers.
Yeah, he played good. His arm I might have a stronger arm, but somehow he was still an effective quarterback.
the noodle arm thing over the past 10 years for Phillip Rivers has been mind-boggling to me that he still completes passes 15 yards downfield with how slow he throws the ball.
Yep.
Okay, here you go. This is all you, Jacksonville, 6.5. Where you at?
I almost feel like this is hard for me to logically look at because it's so easy to talk myself into best case scenario. If I try to be completely objective and just look at games that I feel like they reasonably should win, I had them at like 6 wins. So that would put them at the under. Now, do I think that they can win 7, 8 games, depending on how some close ones go? I do. But if I'm being completely logical, then I'd put them right about 6, which would be the under.
Okay. Yeah, you convinced me. I mean, I would lean the under too. I just didn't want to hurt your feelings.
Yeah, no, it just I mean if Trevor Lawrence comes out and plays like he's supposed to, then sure.
Right.
I mean, winning 7, 8 games also, even if they win 6 games and they look competitive in a lot of the losses and I mean that's still a very good season when you won, 1 game last year. So,
Right. Big uptick. Chiefs, 12.5. The over is a plus 120. It's really tough for me to bet the under against Patrick Mahomes, but at the same point in time, betting a team to win 13 games is tough. I'm staying away from this. I'm not going to be shocked if they go 14-3 or 15-2. I would be shocked if they went 11-6.
see, I like the over. It's not. I don't love the over, but you either bet the Chiefs over or you don't bet them. How could you? That's like one of those perennial 13-win teams until they prove otherwise.
Yeah. Vegas 7. I think Darren Waller takes a step back. I don't see any way he has 1,300 receiving yards again this year. I don't know what the defense looks like. I like rooting for Chucky. I'm a big John Gruden guy. He cracks me up. Dude's hilarious. I don't think Derek Carr should get the hate that he gets. I think Derek Carr's a pretty damn good quarterback. But Josh Jacobs is not an efficient running back. He depends on workload. Devin Booker was actually more effective than him last year on the carries that he got. Or not Devin Booker, Devontae Booker. I'm sorry, Devin Booker. Got NBA on my mind. And so 7, I think, is pretty accurate. I could see 7-10, I think, is a pretty good, especially with the Chargers taking a step up too. So that's 2 more games against the Chargers. They're definitely the lowest total prediction for their division. So I think 7-10. If I had to go anywhere, I'd lean the under because at least one team in that division is going to win 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I like the under. If you're going to bet something on them, they'll probably win 6, 7 games. But I don't think Gruden's a very good coach either.
I just think he's hilarious.
Well, he is funny, yeah.
Yeah, knock on wood if you're with me. I think he cracks me up, man. So the next team, the other team in that division we just mentioned, the Chargers, 9.5. I love Justin Herbert. We both love Austin Eckler. Mike Williams is one of the most talented number 2 receivers in the league. Can he put it all together and stay healthy? That's the question. But yeah, I'd lean the over on the Chargers 9.5.
I would as well. With that being said, this feels like it has the slight potential to be they're very hyped. Maybe they fall short of expectations, and then next year is when they take the step. But I can't look at the roster. I can't look at what Herbert did as a rookie and not feel like they can get to 10 wins because I do.
For sure. I mean, he looks like he should be delivering my pizzas, but the kid's he's amazing. He's so good. His arm strength's fantastic. His decision making really impressed me as a rookie. So, and his legs. I mean, he's mobile. He's got some wheels on him. Rams 10.5, the most hyped team in the NFL this year, without question.
Easily.
I'm on the hype train. Matt Stafford, finally. Yes, he had Megatron, but he never had a running back. He never had a defense, and he's got a defense, man. That defense is stupid. He's got the best defensive player of our lifetime. I mean, Aaron Donald is the best defensive player, the most dominant defensive player that I have been able to witness play football. I've never seen another guy demand 2 or 3, a double team or a triple team off the offensive line. It's got your boy Jalen Ramsey.
Jalen Ramsey, it's very rare that somebody can talk as much shit as he does and come damn close or fully backing it up. It's kind
Right.
of ridiculous.
And you've got the polar opposite in Marcus Peters, who talks all the shit and has, throws all the shade and blows all the smoke and then gets cooked. But there were reports that came out that Jalen Ramsey got smoked by Hunter Renfrow in these co-op training things. He denies it. But I'm waiting for the videos to come out. Apparently, Hunter Renfrow put him on skates 3 or 4 times.
Let me ask you something. Does Jalen
Bigger,
Ramsey
faster, stronger?
Does Jalen Ramsey seem like the guy that would give a full amount of shit about practice, or would he be the guy that would take it 90% and then on Sunday, when everyone's watching, when the cameras are on him, that's when he brings his A game?
Yeah, he's the Allen Iverson of the NFL. Practice. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't care. Miami, 9.5. I hate Tua. I like Myles Gaskin. There's that. But 9.5, I think, is a lot for them. I don't think that they can go 10-7. I know their defense was really good last year. Brian Flores, they bought into what he's teaching. 9.5. I think 8-9 wins. I would lean the under on this.
Yeah, I would lean under. If Tua plays well, that team will hit the over. But
that's a big if.
I mean, yeah, he looked okay in this second preseason game, but it's just he doesn't inspire confidence. And even if your quarterback plays bad per se, you want to feel like he's inspiring something when you're watching him. And Tua, as a rookie, polar opposite. You looked at him and watched his games, and it was just like, oh boy, man.
And you're not going to convince. I don't buy into left-handed quarterbacks. They're non-existent for a reason. I think the last one to start prior to Tua was Kellen Moore.
It's hard to think of many good ones. I mean, Mark Brunell was a good player, but
right. Hence the
logo.
So you get Minnesota 8.5. I think their offense takes a huge step. Not huge, but I do think they take a step back this year. I think they overperformed last year. I don't buy in. The Kirk Cousins contract is still one of the contracts in professional sports that rattles my brain. I never understood it. I get, you like that. He was all fired up in Washington, and they needed a quarterback at the time. So they went out and got the guy. He's not bad. He's a 28 to 32 touchdown kind of guy. He does have the weapons around him. I really like Irv Smith. I think Irv Smith's a really underrated tight end. But that offense has to run through Dalvin Cook. You can't rely on Kirk Cousins to win you games. You have to run that offense through Dalvin Cook.
No, I actually like the over on the Vikings. I think they could push for a wild card spot. And if they're pushing for a wild card spot, they're going to need 9 or 10 wins for that. So I like them. I don't think they're a phenomenal team, but I think they're good.
My biggest concern is the two most important parts, in my opinion, of a football team are obviously the quarterback. And the second's the offensive line. And I think that their offensive line, was shaky last year, and I think it's only gotten worse. But their defense, they made some signings in the offseason for their defense to improve. So it'll be interesting. I'm not touching this one, but 8.5 sounds about right. 9-8 wins. New Orleans 9 under. Get me the hell out of here. I'm not buying into Jameis Winston. I'm sure as hell not buying into Taysom Hill. Michael Thomas, is he going to play a snap for the Saints? When's this ankle injury going to be over? I have no idea. And if you take Michael Thomas off that team and you're asking, crab legs Jabbo to throw the ball around, he might have another 30 for 30 season, 30 tutties, 30 interceptions, man. That's one of the most incredible feats I've ever seen in the NFL. That was amazing.
Yeah, no, they'll make a 30 for 30 one day about his 30 and 30 season.
They have to. If they don't, they're doing an injustice. It has to be done.
Yeah, but I like the under on the Saints as well. Obviously they have a good coach, so he'll probably squeeze every amount of effort and talent out of them as he can. But they're not good. It's not a good roster.
And the defense isn't bad.
No,
the defense is always. Sean Payton's always had a good defense. All right, here we go. New England over 9 wins. Yes.
Yes.
They won 7 games last year with Cam Newton looking, he looked like worse than Tua. I mean, Cam Newton sucked last year. And yes, it still looks like he's trying to throw a 50-yard bomb when he throws a 10-yard dart this year. It still looks like he's putting everything into it. But they gave him some weapons, man. Jacoby Myers was the number 1 last year, and that's not right. Obviously Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, they're going back to the dual tight end system, which they missed out on. What could have been the greatest thing ever with, Aaron Hernandez was a more talented tight end than Rob Gronkowski. Aaron Hernandez was a freak of nature.
Yeah, he was amazing.
Gronk's the GOAT. I mean, I've got his jersey on. He's the best tight end to ever play football. But Aaron Hernandez, what we'll never know, he was so freaking good. But with Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, in the defense, the Patriots are getting Donta Hightower back. Added Judon. I don't see how they win 8. I don't see how they win 8 or less. I think at worst you would push. I think they're a 10-7 team this year. I take the over, and the over sitting at a -110 right now. Over 9 wins.
I'm completely with you. There's the Bill versus Tom debate. Who was more responsible?
Tom.
Realistically, Tom. However, last year shouldn't diminish Belichick. They're going to be a good team. I don't see how do any worse than push if you bet the over on this. They're just you named all the additions, and that obviously helps. But just it's Bill Belichick, and it's the New England Patriots, and it's our lifetime. So yeah, they're not going to go under 9 wins again.
Right, and Nelson Aguilar, breakout year last year, looked really, really good in Vegas. So, and you know what? If Cam sucks, so what? Pep nips, get in there. Let's go. Let's throw some darts. Mac Jones, one time.
See, the way I look at it is Bill. I know he likes Cam Newton. Whoever's better and whoever's going to win that, I'm pretty sure that's who he'll play.
Yeah, and he didn't have another option last year. You're not starting Jared Stidham.
No.
Stidham sucks, dude. Stidham
so
sucks. But yeah, and last year they were out with, obviously they Donta Hightower sat out due to COVID, and then Pat Chung sat out, and then decides to retire this year, which sucked. But you're missing, your leader at your middle linebacker, and then the leader of your secondary. So Hightower being back, I love. I think they'll be fine. I do. I think 10-7 is realistic. I'm not going to get my hopes up super high, but I wouldn't be surprised if they win 11 games. Giants 7.
Well, I'm going to tell you my thoughts. I like the under, and it's because I don't believe in Daniel Jones at all.
And I do.
But
I think Daniel Jones is decent.
Do I think they win 6, 7, maybe 8 if things go right? Yes. I don't love the under, but that's where I would lean.
I will say this is Daniel Jones' year to prove that he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. He's got the weapons, man. They added Kenny Golladay. They added John Ross. Obviously, they still have Sterling Shepard and, Evan Ingram. And, God, please, Saquon, just be healthy. Even if it takes a week or two, sit out. Be healthy, man, because he's so much fun to watch at running back. He's an absolute blast to watch. I tune in the Giants games to see Saquon run the ball. On that note, the offensive line is dog shit. They're terrible. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to go, the Jets are next. I'm going to say under on both New York teams. Jets are at 6. New head coach, new offensive system, new quarterback, even though I do like Zach Wilson. Big Zach Wilson guy. I loved watching him at BYU. I don't know how he's going to convert to the NFL. He's got the arm strength, and he does have mobility. His decision-making's a little questionable. And what he's got around him, Michael Carter, Tyler Johnson at running back. Who Corey the hell
Davis,
knows? Yeah, Corey.
Decent, but great. Right. Probably not.
Yeah, Corey Davis, another receiver who's really never fully blossomed. All the hype around that kid, but he's never really just, I think NFL Top 100 had him at like 76. The 76th best player in the NFL, Corey Davis? No. What has he shown to rate that ranking?
Moore. I actually wanted Jacksonville to draft Elijah Moore, but his his hamstring, I think it is, has been busted up, and he isn't really practicing or playing. So, that rookie learning curve when you're is already steep, and then you're not playing, you're not practicing. I don't know. The Jets aren't gonna like be some terrible team. I don't think that gets blown out every game, but I definitely see them under 6 wins.
Like I do love what they did at the head coach position.
Yes.
I love it. I think it's fantastic. Get back to Jets football. Get back to a hard nose, hard hitting, knock your mouth off defense, which is exactly what that's going to bring. And Zach Wilson, even though he was the second overall pick, I don't think much is expected of him because he is going into the Jets system.
See, not much is expected of him from reasonable people, but
Right.
guess where he is? He's in the city that you don't want to
Oh,
go
I know.
if you don't want expectations.
Oh, yeah, it's ridiculous. If you don't come out there and throw 40 touchdowns, they're going to be questioning your ability to play football.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't have a butt fumble as a rookie, though, it'll be all right.
Philly 6.5. I think they can win 7 games, but at the same time, I'm super high on Dallas. But that division is, bleh. I think every team in that division could finish 8 and 9. I don't know. Philly, I'd probably go over 6.5 because it seems that they haven't announced Jalen Hurts, but all of the reports coming out are that people love his leadership, his work ethic. I like Jalen Hurts. I didn't think he was going to be a good NFL quarterback, but what he showed me in the last 4 games last year, I think he could be a formidable quarterback. They obviously added Devonta Smith. Jalen Reagor, if he can learn how to catch a football, could be really good, but he doesn't know how to catch. And Miles Sanders, I like Miles Sanders a lot. I think Miles Sanders has a pretty decent year this year. I'd probably lean the over on the Eagles at 6.5.
I couldn't decide, so I did a nice game of rock paper scissors to figure out what to do for the Eagles. But no, I would lean over, probably soft lean. Jalen Reagor would be nice if he could catch the ball. Justin Jefferson catch the ball, can he? He was there when they picked him, wasn't
he? Yeah, he sure was. Damn,
but
Justin Jefferson's good, man.
You're right. I feel like the Cowboys are the cream of the crop in that division. For me, I think Washington is the clear second best team.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what they'll get from the quarterback position, which scares me. But then, the Eagles, they just feel like one of those mediocre teams that are just going to kind of be there this year. So, do they win 7 games? Maybe they only win 6, but 7 or 8 probably feels right.
Pittsburgh, 8.5. The over's a plus 110. Listen, I was dead set on the under here. I was like, you know what? This is the year the Steelers take a step back. And then I sat down and I thought about it. And Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season in his 14 years in Pittsburgh. And Ben Roethlisberger, there is no excuse to not perform well. He's finally got a legit 3-down back in Najee Harris. And his wide receiver core might be the deepest in the NFL. I think we both think Deontay Johnson's number 1. Chase Claypool, number 2. Juju is the best third receiver in the NFL. And then even James Washington. But Roethlisberger's got this weird connection with James Washington. Ray McLeod is their 5th. And then on defense, they have a leader at every single level and an elite player at every single level as well. Their defensive line is fantastic. Tyson Alualu
is not good.
Yeah, I know. So their defensive line: Tyson Alualu, Cam Hayward, and then you have, obviously at the linebacker position, you lost Bud Dupree, but they added Melvin Ingram, and I like the outside rush that Melvin Ingram brings. T.J. Watt's obviously fantastic. T.J. Watt's such a good player. Joe Hayden, a very solid corner, even though he's getting up there in his career. And it depends. The defense really, I think, depends on what Minko do we get. Is it Minkah Fitzpatrick the year they traded for him? Or is it Minkah Fitzpatrick of 2020? He wasn't bad in 2020, but he wasn't an all-pro talent like he was the year they traded for him. But yeah, the offensive line's terrible. It's so bad. It's so bad. Is it Chukwuka Okafor is their left tackle this year? I think it's an upgrade because I think Alejandro Villanueva sucks.
Yeah,
he was so bad. And Baltimore, another reason I like the Baltimore under, Baltimore added him to be their left tackle. Terrible decision. But yeah, the offensive line sucks. But I like Pittsburgh's over at plus money. I think they can win 9 games, man. I really do.
So my feelings on this Pittsburgh line, I think they go under 8.5. However, I it's the Steelers, so even though I think that they're a 7 or 8 win team, I'm acknowledging they'll probably win 9 or 10 games because they're the Steelers. That's my reasoning that they'll go over is they're the Steelers.
We're both from the Pittsburgh area, so we know nothing. We know nothing else than Pittsburgh being productive and Pittsburgh winning games.
Yeah.
Neither of us like the Steelers, so it's easy to pick against them. But at the same point in time, for them to have a winning record at plus money, I have to take the over there. Seattle, this one interests me. 10 wins. I'll let you go first on this one.
So I struggled a bit, but I think under because I think number one, I like the Cardinals. The Rams I love, and I like the 49ers as well. That division's tough.
Super tough.
Seattle, they'll be right around probably 9, 10 wins. There's always a stretch in the season where they look dominant. And
I think 9's more likely than 11.
Yes, I agree.
So therefore, yeah, I agree with you on the under here. I think 9 is more likely than 11. Russell Wilson is amazing. Was the only quarterback to throw for at least 30 touchdowns in the last 4 years, every single year. He's fantastic. What he does with his legs it's freakish, man. The way he extends plays it's crazy. And he's got the weapons. Super high on Chris Carson this year. I love Chris Carson.
Yeah.
And I also really, really like Higbee. I think Higbee's going to have a great year. Or I'm sorry, Higbee's still with the Rams. They brought in Gerald Everett.
Yeah.
They brought in the other Rams tight end, Gerald Everett. I think Gerald Everett has a good year for them. But, he's got DK, he's got Tyler Lockett. But the defense it's questionable, man. And like you said, that division is so tough. It's hands down the best division in football. And that's saying a lot. If Cincinnati was a decent team, then the Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cleveland division could compete for it. But top to bottom, I could see Seattle going 9-8, finishing last in that division. I think that's plausible.
I could too. And random question for you, not really related to the over-under. Does Russell Wilson throw the prettiest looking deep ball in the NFL?
Yeah.
That thing goes straight up to the moon.
It's got to be. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is there because Mahomes is more effortless, but it's like, so for a basketball reference, Russell Wilson's deep ball is like a Derek Fisher 3, man. It's like it's going to scrape the roof.
Yeah, it leaves his hand and it's heading straight up, it looks like.
It's crazy, and it still goes 60 yards. So the next one we have Tampa 11.5. Just take the over. Don't bet against Tom Brady, man. They brought all 22 starters back. Take the over. The Saints got worse. Carolina's got Sam Darnold. Atlanta's going to be worse. Take the over 11. I know it's juiced at minus 150, but just take the over 11.5.
Yeah, if you're betting anything on Tampa, you damn well better bet the over.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to go 11-6 until Father Time defeats him. Tom Brady, I can't bet against them.
It may happen at some point, but yeah, you don't bet on it. You bet for him, and then you're wrong that year, and then so be it. But you don't predict when it's going to happen because who knows?
In a full season with his little lover boy Antonio Brown.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so yeah, I take that back. Juju's not the best number 3 receiver in football. Antonio Brown is, or Chris Godwin, or Mike Evans, whoever you want to name number 3 there.
Is the best third receiver.
It's sickening. Yeah, it's sickening. Tennessee, 9 wins. I bump it up to 9.5 for the minus 110. 9's at minus 150. Take over 9.5 minus 110. I like Tennessee. Yeah. I'm not convinced like on Indy, and then obviously they have Houston and Jacksonville. I think their division, I think they go 4-2 at worst. 5-1 is more likely. I think they win both Jacksonville games. They're probably both going to be Thursday night games. They're going to win both Houston games. They're not.
They're not. So Jacksonville might have a shot since it's a 1:00 home game.
And I like Mike Vrabel's going to get that defense under control. Their defense was really, really bad last year. Worst third down defense in the league. It was like 60%. opposing teams converted on third down, which is crazy. That's really, really bad. Um, and they still went over 9.5 last year. They added Bud Dupree, which is big. That's going to help the defense. It's going to give them the edge rusher they need. They've got King Henry, and oh yeah, they added this guy, their number 2 receiver, Julio Jones. Yeah, he's 32. Yeah, he's missed some games, but if Julio Jones is on the field for 12 of the 17 games, big addition. Jonnu Smith being gone, that hurts because Ryan Tannehill liked Jonnu Smith a lot, but I'll take Julio over Jonnu any day. It spreads that field open, and that's only going to help AJ Brown. I mean,
And that line just feels great. You think of Tennessee, you think, all right, that's a playoff team. So then you say that and you look and the over-under's at 9. That just that feels easy. They're a good team that's going to win 10 games of maybe 11. Even if, they only win 9 and you bet the 9, well, then you push.
yeah. And the last over we have, well, over under. I'm not taking the over here. Washington at 8.5. Fitzmagic is not a 17-game starter. Fitzmagic's the guy you comes in for 7 or 8 games, gives your team that boost. Seen the videos of him like walking around with cicadas in his beard and all that weird shit. I like Ryan Fitzpatrick. It's a great story. The journeyman, he's been successful everywhere he goes, but I think that they finish under 500 this year. Again, we're high on the Cowboys, so it's only right of me to take the under on the majority of that division. Under 8.5 for Washington.
I'm torn on the Washington football team because the quarterback position is what's holding me back, because I honestly love the rest of the roster. Both lines, I mean, their defensive line is loaded.
Scary Terry McScorin.
Yeah, Logan Thomas is a good tight end. Gibson's a good running back.
Yeah.
If you plug the good quarterback in, that over's easy. So I personally would stay away from this because that roster is a 10 or 11 win roster, but quarterback, it's too scary for a whole season of Fitzmagic.
Agreed. So just to recap here, so we're going the plays that we're actually going to make here: Baltimore under 11, Buffalo over 11, Green Bay over 10.5, Houston under 4, Dallas. What was their line at? Was it 9.5? Dallas,
yes.
Yeah, Dallas over 9.5, and then just take Tampa. take Tampa Bay over 11.5. And now we've got some player props for you guys that we want to go through. And player props, like, again, these are all season long bets, so I don't know how people feel about having their money set aside for an entire season, but I enjoy season long bets. I enjoy teams over unders. I enjoy player props. And the first player prop that we're going to ride with here, you can go ahead. You can start off with one you like.
So I guess they tie in together. I really like Dak for MVP. I'm not saying I love it. It's going to happen, but your odds for a plus 1,500. And with that, what I really love is Dak over 4,775.5 passing yards. If Dak is healthy, he's throwing for 5,000 yards. I almost feel like that's a factual statement. Technically it's not, but I don't see the way this is Dak. He just slings the rock. They might go down. He might wait till the second half to start throwing the ball like he did at the beginning of last year. But you know what? When he starts throwing it, he doesn't stop. And I feel like he throws for 5,000 yards easily. So a couple hundred under that, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I was on the Punch List MMA podcast this week promoting the show, and I said Dak Prescott comeback player of the year at plus 200. It's a battle between him and Joe Burrow. It's going to go to a quarterback. And I like Dak's numbers versus Joe Burrow's numbers, obviously. Now there's a wide receiver that you like from Dallas as well for Dak to get those numbers. And that would be
CeeDee Lamb. He's a beast. He is an absolutely incredible player. Him and Dak last year, I think they said he was on pace for about 1,700 yards. Granted, 4-game sample size, not huge.
Yeah.
However, if Dak throws for 5,000 yards, like I think he will, if he's an MVP candidate, like I think he will be, if all of that happens, there's no shot CeeDee Lamb does not at least have over 1,050.5 receiving yards. If all those happen, the CeeDee Lamb one happens easily as well.
Yeah, and so like you said, like we've said the entire show, we're high on Dallas. A player prop I like is Ezekiel Elliott, over 1,150.5 rushing yards. In the last 4 years, Zeke has 1,350 when he led the league. Um, then he missed 6 games and still had 930 in the year that he missed 6 games. And then he went again for, I think it was close to 1,400 yards, where, again, he led the league in rushing. And then last year, where he had, it was 930 or 980, I can't remember, down year last year. But obviously, like we said, the offensive line was banged up. And it's easy to stack 7 or 8 in the box when Andy Dalton or Cooper Rush or, God forbid, Ben DiNucci is your quarterback.
The kid from Pine Richland.
Yeah, that's right. I just don't see how Zeke doesn't hit this over here, man. I like Zeke over 9.5 rushing touchdowns, too. I think Zeke has a good year, a really good year. I think he jumps back into form. You add an extra game onto the schedule, 1,300 yards for Zeke.
Look, I'm going to be honest. You pick a Dallas offensive player, you pick some stat of theirs, and you bet the over. It's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Next one, we'll stay in the division, one that I like based off of his sample size last year, Jalen Hurts. I like Jalen Hurts' over 574.5 rushing yards. I know, 575 yards for a quarterback rushing. But in the 4 games that Jalen Hurts started last year, it's like 103 yards, 69 yards, 63 yards, and then 34 yards. And that was only one half. That was the controversial sit Jalen Hurts, let Washington win the game. The Giants were super pissed because the Giants could have won the division if Washington would have lost that game. So he still had 34 yards rushing in that first half. He needs to average 33.5 per game to hit this over. What about that doesn't, he's done nothing but hit that number. And if he has a full season starting, I just don't see how he doesn't go 575 or more.
No, that's one of those ones that it almost seems like a gimme, which means he'll get hurt or something will happen that it won't hit, but it absolutely should.
Yeah, and betting is all about getting your money in the right spot. You're not going to win every bet. You're not going to lose every bet. But it's all about getting your money in right and getting it in, where you see an advantage. Injuries are unforeseen circumstances. So I'm taking Jalen Hurts over 400 or 574.5 rushing yards. Couple receivers you like this year. We talked about the Rams. We talked about the addition of Matt Stafford. I know our producer here is a big fan of this guy. I'm a big fan of him. Cooper Kupp, over 1,000.5 receiving yards. What do you think?
I love it. I love it. Stafford, Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp are both gonna. There's plenty of food to go around with Matthew
especially with
Stafford
Cam Akers out.
Yeah, 1,000 yards in a 17 game. I'm sorry, 1,001 yards if he wants to hit the over in a 17-game season. He'll blow up for a couple 150-yard weeks. So then he has those couple weeks and he averages 60, 70, 80 yards the rest of it. He'll hit that. I think he'll hit that easily because I think he's an awesome player and I think he's just going to soak up targets from Matthew Stafford. So that one almost seems like a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, look at it this way. So you have a massive upgrade at quarterback from Goff to Stafford, and you're also adding an additional game. And if you can catch 950 yards consistently with Jared Goff, why can't you catch an additional 60 yards with a much better quarterback and an additional game?
Yeah.
I don't see the problem. I'd love that offense, man. Robert Woods, like I mentioned, Higbee, Cooper Kupp. Yeah, I think it's to me fantastic. And I think the projection on Stafford's like 5,000 passing yards. If it's 5,000
in Detroit with bums.
Yeah. If it's 5,000, Cooper Kupp's got to hit his over.
Yes.
Another guy you like, and this plays into the over Green Bay, Devonta Adams, man. 1,300.5. The Last Dance, Scottie Pippen, MJ. Aaron Rodgers, he's going to be looking for him. He's going to see 15 targets a game.
If you're watching this show, listening to this show, I'm assuming you're a football fan. If you're a football fan, I'm assuming you know something about at least the big names, even if you just pretend to like football. You know Aaron Rodgers, you know Devontae Adams. 1,300.5 might be a lot. If they're healthy for a 17-game season, he hits that. It's
Yeah,
just, it's that simple. He's that good. Their connection is that good. You know, they're unstoppable together. He can get double covered, and it does not matter. If there is a millimeter that ball needs to be fit into for him to catch it, Rodgers will put it there, and he will hold on to it.
for sure. Yeah, you're not going to see many drops out of Adams, and that's less than 80 yards a game. And I know, it's still, you look at the big number, 1,300 yards. It seems a lot, but when you break it down, it's less than 80 yards a game, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not a lot when he ends up
yeah.
catching 16.
80
Yeah,
yards a game over 17 games would be 1360. So yeah, it's less than 80 yards a game. I like it. And he's going to have, you know,
1,600 yards.
yeah, he's going to have 160, 180. He's going to have huge weeks. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that. So another, the last player prop we have here, Tua, under 3905.5. I thought that was a mistake. I couldn't believe when I read that number. Dude, he's not passing for 4,000 yards. In 9 games last year, he had 1805. So he was averaging just over 200 yards a game. 17 games, that's 3,400 yards. That's 500 under what they have him projected. And I'm sorry, that offense is not going to be high powered. I don't see over 3,905 passing yards out of Tua this year. I'm a big fade Tua guy until he proves me wrong. And if he does, good on him. But I'm taking the under on Tua's passing.
I like it a lot because if Tua has a good year this year, it doesn't feel like he's going to throw for 350 yards a game. He'll manage the game and, he'll throw for 200 yards with 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. Like, I feel like that's a good Tua game this year. So even if he looks okay, I still think he struggles to hit that number on passing yards.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not buying into the Tua hype. And I don't think many people in Miami are buying into the Tua hype. There was the talk about them drafting a quarterback this year, in case Tua wasn't the guy, so they could have a quarterback. And when you hear that your team's going to go again and take another quarterback in the top 10, I don't know, it's got to hit you in the feels.
Look, if I'm a Jaguars fan, I know about bad quarterback play. The thing is, if you don't know, you do not. You not so much. Even Matt Castle was good the year Brady was hurt. So if you don't know if you have a guy, you don't have a guy.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, you should. Yeah, you should know if he's your guy. So yeah, that's it, guys. That's all we have for you on this episode. Next week we will be live. Follow us on Instagram at Gimme the Points, Twitter, Gimme the Points. We're going to be on Spotify. We're on iTunes. And like I said, next week we will be live on YouTube. We have a little 24-hour delay before we can go live. So this episode couldn't go live. But we are going to do next week. We're going to go over division winners and possible Super Bowl winners. So we're going to go over that stuff as long as, while the preseason's still going on. But then full speed ahead, man. Week 1, I'm fired up. I can't wait. College football right around the corner. Kicks off next weekend. I believe Saturday night is the first college football game. We will be covering college football as well. We're both SEC guys. It's going to be great. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Football season's finally here.
Yeah, listen, I go to pretty much every WVU game. You'll find me in the blue lot. Tailgating is back this year. I could the NFL is my favorite to watch, but those college football Saturdays and going to the games, but I'm ready. Bring it on.
So that's all we got for you guys. Any parting shots? Anything else you want to add here?
No, I mean, bet the over on the Chiefs and Bucks.
Yeah, take the 2 best teams in the league. Brady and the other 21 starters returning. Yeah, Tampa's over. I know it's minus 150, but yeah, Tampa's over. So yeah, I appreciate you guys tuning in to the first episode. Many more to come. We have so much in store for you guys. Working along with Punch List, they've been fantastic. They're helping us out with all the production. Dale and Trey are fantastic. If you're listening to us and you haven't listened to Punch List MMA, you're out of your mind. Punchless MMA on Spotify, Instagram, YouTube, or iTunes. Go give it a listen. When we started recording this episode, it is Saturday night. Starting this episode, they were 7-0 on their MMA picks. The guys know what they're talking about, and MMA is a very, like a little niche community. Like, it's so small, and to find two people that know what they're talking about the way they know what they're talking about is so rare. And the dynamic of the two of them is fantastic. So go give it a listen. Punch List MMA. They are our like little mother, and we're like the little child right now. So yeah, give it a listen, guys. The Punch List family is going to be growing. You'll see their little logo on our logo, but we appreciate you guys coming out, and that's all I've got. We will talk to you guys next week.